It is 2025 and I still see way too many financial advisors who, sorry, what was that? I'm hoping this is only like a 6-minute video. So let me go ahead and string this together. Can I pause this? I don't think I can. So apologies. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. It is 2025 and I still see way too many financial advisors
who look and sound like this.
It was understandable when the pandemic hit and everyone was just scrambling, but that was years ago. So it is time to level up your video setup, and that's exactly what we're gonna do today. Starting with audio, which is the most important part of video. Then we're gonna look at lighting. Then we're going to talk about camera quality. And I'll let you know now, everything we're gonna look at today, if you invested in all of it, we're only talking about $400. So if you think back to when people spent all this money on desk chairs and decorators and art and everything for their in-person offices, being able to have a really great setup for $400 is a steal. So let's dive in. All right, so let's start with audio. I know when you think video, it's the camera quality and everything, but if people can't hear you, your meeting is ruined. Prospects are distracted, clients are distracted, and you are talking about really important stuff, and you do not want people on the other end of your virtual meetings or videos to be distracted. So the microphone I recommend is the Samson Q2U. It's only like $60 or $70. It goes on sale pretty often, but super simple setup. So I haven't even opened this yet. And you might be wondering, I already have a microphone. Why am I doing this? I've actually had this microphone for years and it's gotten a little bit glitchy. So since the Samson is the one I recommend, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade with you all to this microphone. All right, so in the box, we have got, voila, the microphone. This is heavier than I thought it would be. I obviously don't pick mine up. So it feels really solid microphone, darker color. Maybe that's a good thing, I'm not sure. So they always come with these windscreens. So this can be a personal preference, whether you want it on. I always have it on. I don't think you can see, mine is completely covered in cat hair, but it can make it look a little bit better. And it does help with some of those pops, your P's, a few of the audio distractions that come through. So since it comes with it, it's in the box, go ahead and put that on. All right, so now we've got a good looking microphone, but how does it connect to the computer? So it should have a USB connection in here. So we are looking for the much smaller cord. And this is actually surprisingly just a standard USB cord. I was curious if it was gonna be USB-C, it is not. So we're gonna go ahead and plug the micro side into the bottom here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and weave this through the boom arm that I have and plug it in. And here's one thing I want you to know. Why do I have a boom arm? So this also comes with a small tripod. But the thing is, when I'm in meetings, I want access to my desk. And so for me, I find that having these and having the microphone placed on my desk, it takes up too much space. It's an inconvenience. And so that's why I have this. It's called a boom arm or a scissor arm, and they're only like $17 to $20. So let me go ahead and string this together. All right, so we have got it all plugged in now. So there are a couple of things you need to do once you plug it in. First, make sure it is turned on. There is an on-off switch right on the side. You can sort of see it here, on off. The trick though is that the light will be on even if it's in the off position. So this can be really confusing. So if you're in a meeting and people say, I can't hear you, actually physically make sure that it is in the on switch. The second thing you want to do is test where the microphone should be. So actually go ahead and open up a Zoom meeting, talk to yourself, tell yourself how beautiful you are today, and actually test. And as you're talking, say, all right, I'm getting further away, I'm getting closer, I'm getting closer, I'm getting back further. That way you can actually hear what does it sound like in different places. Because you'll hear if you're too far away, it actually defeats the point of having a microphone. But if you're too close, that can be a little bit weird and distracting in meetings. So some of it is going to be a personal preference. If you want it up to the side, if you want it above you. So go ahead and do that audio test to figure out where you want it. So that's what we have for audio. Again, it's only $60 or $70 for this, $20 for a boom arm. Super, super well worth the investment. Really levels you up in your client meetings, prospect meetings, and hopefully if you're leveraging video in your business. All right, so the next thing we want to look at is lighting. Now, my lighting looks pretty good here. And here's the thing, this is all natural lighting. I don't have any other fill lights on. So any opportunity you have to use natural light, absolutely use it. Not only is it free, it's good for our souls, and it's good to be looking out the window whenever possible, right? Just good for our mental health. It also just provides that really nice light diffuse, makes you look younger. Everything about natural light is good. We just want to make sure, right, we're not getting actual direct sunlight sort of blinding us. But we don't always have that. It's sort of the dead of winter now. Maybe it's going to be a stormy day, or you just don't have that much natural light. So that's where we want to add some fill light. So my favorite light is this really big 18-inch ring light. And you'll notice it's thicker. A lot of the older ring lights were very thin, and those can provide the circles in your eyes if you wear glasses. It just doesn't provide that nice diffuse light that you see here. So this is hands down my recommended light. It's easy to move. It comes with a little iPhone clip in it so that you can put your phone in if you're recording videos to send to your clients, use for marketing, and it's really easy to use. So link in the comments to this version. There's also another version if you want to have a remote control to be able to change the color temperature or how light or dark it gets, especially on those days where the light might be changing a lot. You can do that. But since natural light isn't always available, this is my favorite light substitute, a nice fill light. So you'll see this is big. This is an 18-inch ring light, and notice how thick the edges are. That helps provide that really nice diffuse light that I'm getting here naturally. So if you wear glasses and you have one of those thinner ring lights, you'll notice in your meetings, it can be really distracting because people are actually just seeing that ring. This helps avoid that, especially if you have it a little bit higher. This also has options to provide a little bit of warmth. You can just swap out any of these to match your skin tone, match the environment, give yourself a little tan. So these are really nice and easy to use. And you'll see it gets really, really bright. So I'm gonna blind you here for a second. And the thing is, look at it. The light is going to take just a second to change. So one of the things I often see advisors do is have light that is too bright on their face, and they don't actually give the camera lens a second to adjust. This also gives you headaches, especially if you're sitting in back-to-back client meetings all day. It's just not great for us to have these lights blaring in our face. So turn it down a little bit. Don't have it as bright as you would think. Give the camera a second to adjust. It's not going to do the same thing here because the light is not usually pointed at the camera. But you'll see this gets really bright, and then you'll see the camera adjust here a little bit back to our natural light. Another quick trick, if it is hurting your eyes, is to actually put whatever lighting you have up as high as it can go and point it at the ceiling. So maybe if you have some old LED lights, the big panel lights, point those at the ceiling, and that will also create sort of this lighting that I have here, bounce off those white ceilings, create the nice light, and not give you those headaches over time. There's also a newer version of this. The company's called Newer, so that's kind of funny too. There's a newer version of this that has a remote control. So if you'd rather have a remote control so that you can adjust it when you're in meetings, you don't have to reach over. This one is manual. You can grab that as well, link in the description. All right, so once you've got your audio sounding great, you've got your lighting looking great, now it's time to really talk about that camera quality. So if you remember that little clip in the beginning of me in Zoom, quick side note, don't ever record things in Zoom that you're planning on sharing externally. The quality is really not good. And also, I was using my built-in webcam on my MacBook. Surprisingly, that only has a resolution of 720, which technically is HD, but the HD that our eyes are used to today is 1080. Yes, 4K is out there, but it isn't really working that well just yet. Who knows, by the end of 2025, maybe it is. But we want to make sure your camera quality is 1080. So here's a great camera that I recommend to advisors. So I wanted to make sure that I got it for myself and to test it for all of you. So this is actually the Logitech MX Brio. It's the Master Series. So this does have 4K because I'm sure we're going to upgrade to that before we even know it. Most people didn't even realize we went from 720 to 1080. So it'll be another seamless transition. But I'm going to use this in 1080 for now and be ready for 4K. So let's go ahead and open it. This reminds me a lot of if any of you had the original iSight cameras that actually went this way on your MacBook. I lived in Australia over 20 years ago. I went to university there and graduated, and I used to do virtual meetings with my mom. I kid you not, I was doing virtual meetings over 20 years ago on the equivalent of FaceTime back then on our Macs. So that's just a fun little throwback here. Probably not what they were going for, but it's cool. So this is nice and sturdy. I like the look of it. It has a camera lens cover I can see, so I can close it and open it, which is great for privacy. A lot of people are concerned about that. Now, here's the thing. It comes with this attachment. So it's encouraging you to go ahead and put it on your laptop. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I don't like to see advisors doing that. I actually prefer that you attach it to a tripod. So this is my favorite tripod. You see, it's light, it's easy, takes up no space at all. It has a little Bluetooth remote, and it comes with a phone attachment. So these are great multi-purpose tripods that are super easy to use. And I think this is like $20 for this one. Again, link is in the description. But these don't take up any space. And if you think about traditional tripods, right, they're 3 legs. They take up space from the beginning, versus this is only those 3 legs at the bottom. So it's not taking up that much space. And all of you don't really have a lot of space in your office generally, so you don't want to take up too much space. So pretty nice, pretty easy. Again, adjust nice and easy. So I'd rather see us attach it to this. The other big reason is because while not everyone is as animated as I am, a lot of advisors will tend to be writing on their desk or just kind of hit it. And it often looks like you're in an earthquake in the middle of your meetings. So again, all those little distractions, we want to get rid of those. So if you tend to do that and your camera is attached to your monitor, it's going to be shaking every time. Distraction, get rid of it. Tripod, $20 easy. So this is super easy. It has a little screw on the bottom. I'm just going to take it, screw on the top. You'll see exactly how easy this is. I just turn it right there and voila. So this also makes it nice and easy to put it exactly wherever you want it to go. So if you want to move it between your monitor, off your monitor, just nice and easy. So then I'm imagining there's a cord in here. Yep, I'm guessing it's at the end. Nice little setup here. Oh my gosh. Not gonna lie, this is far larger than I was anticipating, but looks nice and sturdy, which is extra good because I have 2 little kitties that love to snack on my cords in my office. And it comes with a thing to keep the cord nice and organized. So I have to say, little things like this from companies, I really appreciate these. And this is USB-C. Remember with the Samson, I was kind of surprised it's not. This is. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in here. I'm gonna set this up behind my monitor, and I will check in with you as soon as I get this plugged in and show you a couple of more tricks for anyone with a Logitech camera, what you should make sure you have. All right, I have got my brand new MX Brio set up, but you'll see this is a pretty wide frame we have. And if you see me in other videos, you know I'm usually framed a little bit differently, but it's okay. We are going to take care of that. And it actually reminds you right here on the side in the small print that most people don't read, it says what you need, configurations require the LogiTune software. So again, I recommend anybody with any Logitech webcam download the LogiTune software. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I just headed over to the Logitech website. The link directly to this page is in the description. And we're gonna go ahead, I'm on a Mac, so download from Mac. It also works on Windows, it works on iOS. So I'm gonna go ahead and download this really quickly, install it. Let's open it and play with some of these settings. All right, so I've got the LogiTune software, kind of a fun little name. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch LogiTune. Let's get it up there. It has the MX Brio connected. I did not install any drivers. This was absolute plug and play. I did nothing else. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this MX Brio, give my computer permission. Now it's Katie and Katie, a little bit too much Katie here. So we see a few different options here, right? We can zoom in, and it just does it right here. We can get way too close. The field of view, this FOV, right? That's so we see 90 degrees right here. Let's take that down to 78. Let's even try 65. So 65 is definitely getting closer. We see my head's getting cut off, so I can fix the camera with that a little bit, which reminds me one really, really key thing to know. When you get your camera on the tripod, I will confess, there was a little bit of room in my tripod. I had to shove a little piece of folded up paper in there to make sure it didn't wiggle. So if you get that tripod, you might have to do the same thing, but set your tripod up right at eye level. We don't want you looking up like it's a weird nanny cam we're looking down on. We don't want you looking down, counting your chins. It's also just much better for our our posture. It makes it feel a lot better. So right at eye level, or I mean, just an inch or so above, but ideally right at eye level, that's where we want your camera. We do not need to see your ceiling. Love how proud you are of it, but we want your framing to have more room below your chin than above your head, but we don't want your head cut off. So let's look at that here. So we also have some image adjustments. So if we look at that, look, we have all kinds of things happening here. The autofocus, that is turned on right now. Let's see what that does. Okay, so mine isn't flickering. For a lot of people, if you see your autofocus going in and out and in and out, I've been in meetings with advisors, it honestly makes me kind of nauseous. If that's happening, turn that autofocus off. We also have our auto exposure. So when you think about lighting, again, make sure your camera settings are correct before you start blaring lights in your eyes. So we can go ahead and change this, right? We can make it brighter here, add some light that way. How cool is that? Or if it's too bright for whatever reason, turn it down. So use the tools that you probably before this didn't even know you had. So I'm gonna make it just a little bit brighter, just for fun, not any real reason. If you need low light compensation, so you can go in and play with these tools, but for a lot of you, this is gonna make a really big difference in what you look like. If you have weird lighting and you need to make it, you know, a little bit more blue, obviously I don't, unless I wanna have a little bit of fun, kind of keep it neutral there. So all these things you can play with. All right, so remember I mentioned a second ago about framing. I love this. So this has a little bit of a trick in it. So if you're not quite sure, your eyes should actually be on this line. So again, I'm getting my head cut off a little bit here. We're gonna go ahead and fix that. And look, we can fix it right here. I don't even have to move the camera. So again, if you've got it on a tripod, it's somewhere else. You don't have to be reaching over your desk, trying to futz with it. Use the technology. So I'm gonna go ahead and reframe myself here. Let's get it right on the eyes. Bingo. So I am nice and center framed, which is great for meetings. I might still zoom in a little bit because again, most of you didn't even know I had a door right there. Zoom in a little, I might have to make it just a little bit higher here. That probably looks pretty good. It might not be perfect, but we are never going for perfection. We are always going for progress, leveling up a little bit with each video in each meeting. So I'm gonna say that's pretty good there. The built-in microphone, again, I don't need that because I've got this external microphone. So just pay attention if you're in Zoom meetings or team meetings that you are selecting the microphone that you want to use. So hopefully this was helpful. Let's get out of this so you don't have too many Katies happening. And voila. Now you are ready for a leveled up 2025 and beyond. Remember, we looked at the Samson Q2U USB microphone. This goes for about $60 plus the boom or scissor arm for another $20 if you want to make sure your desk space stays clear. We looked at my favorite 18-inch ring light, which usually goes for around $110. We looked at the MX Brio webcam, which I am on now. This runs about $180 to $200, and a tripod to put it on for about another $20. So all in, we're only talking $400 to really level up, to look like the competent professional that you are. And with this camera, we're ready for when 4K is mainstream. So I hope you found this valuable. Remember, links to everything I mentioned are in the description below. Please like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in future videos and seeing all the videos that you create in your business.